The Regional Mayor's Council have put together a commission to study options for mobility pricing, or as I like to call it, road taxes, here in the Metro Vancouver area. So we launched a petition to let them know this isn't what their voters asked for. You can watch my video on that and find out more details at noroadtaxes.ca and find out all about this blatant cash grab. Well, today, the leader of the Mayor's Council, Mayor Gregor Robertson of Vancouver, had a media availability, so I took the opportunity to ask him directly how he squares the idea of creating a new revenue stream that gouges drivers when voters overwhelmingly rejected the TransLink tax in the referendum we had in 2015. Here is what he told me.
So on mobility pricing and its relationship to the transit plebiscite on new funding, that plebiscite was very focused on sales tax, the provincial sales tax, and 1% of that going to transit and transportation investment, and that was rejected by voters. I think mayors did not support having a referendum on essential investments that we need to make in our infrastructure, but that's what happened. In this case, we're looking at different ways to fund transit. Right now, we are effectively paying mobility pricing through gas taxes, through parking tax, through property tax as well, and those all add up with bridge tolling to a package of funding that pays for transit and transportation. And we'd like to see a more fair mix and make sure that as we grow the system, as we supply transit and transportation to 1 million more people moving here over the next 30 years, that we have a system that's fair. So if the Mobility Pricing Independent Commission comes back and says, here's a better way to pay for transit and transportation, it may reduce some of the current taxes that we pay, fuel tax or property tax, and shift it onto another way of covering this. We're looking forward to their report coming back, looking at what other cities are doing and what will work best here in Vancouver. So.
Now that answer was a bit surprising to me. I didn't expect him to almost suggest that the current system we have is unfair. And it was almost as if he was saying he wanted to see the taxes or fees shifted around to make things more equitable. So I asked him if he suspects that the new prices and fees for mobility pricing might be more revenue neutral, to say allow for a reduction in property taxes.
I think that the basic principle with the Mayor's Council is that transportation should pay for itself, and we do need to invest more to deal with traffic congestion and more population here in Metro Vancouver. But we want to make sure we're generating that from the transportation system. We're not taxing housing to pay for transportation. And I think there's currently a whole bunch of different sources of revenue, and the Commission is going to come back with recommendations on the best way to do this, what's fair, and what gets us enough revenue to grow the system and reduce traffic congestion. That's the goal.
Now, while that sounds good, and I appreciate the Mayor being fairly candid with me, there is not a tax that Mayor Robertson has cut or reduced in his entire term in office. In fact, it's just the opposite. Mayor Robertson has introduced new taxes, increases on property taxes for both residents and businesses, and I think it's been every single year that they've gone up. And now I suspect that whatever the recommendation of the Mobility Pricing Commission, that we will not actually see any reductions in other taxes or fees elsewhere once it's implemented. And that's because politicians are always looking for more money, more of our money, that is. And they'll tell you it's revenue neutral, but honestly, I just don't buy it. Because they will never even think about cutting the waste in City Hall like their virtue signaling pet projects. So if you're like me and you are sick of politicians dipping into the pockets of taxpayers, in this case targeting drivers, then visit noroadtaxes.ca and sign our petition. I'll deliver it myself to the Mayor's Council. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. noroadtaxes.ca. Sign that petition and let's send a clear message that we won't accept any more gouging of our wallets.